Silence! Now I see, it's all becoming clear.
What is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with a tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Luke Atmey, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Mask to Mask.
Well, yes.
Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime.
Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atmey know that Ron Delight was Mask to Mask? Here's where this newspaper clipping comes into play again. Take that! I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief by trying to be at the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Mask to Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atmey. That's when you learned that under his mask, Mask to Mask was really Ron Delight. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Mask to Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. I can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
Why, you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective. And also Mask to Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why, you? How dare you even... Words going so goddamn fast, and I'm putting all of the words together so that all these words become one word. It's like, ah! It's enough to make one laugh.
It would seem we've finally gotten to the real answer. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atmey. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atmey.
Objection!
Oh, for Christ's sake! The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim.
What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence.
Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite. Where do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atmey was a filthy blackmailer, and that he wasn't at Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. But there's still one thing you have yet to prove.
What's that?
Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered.
No way!
Order the court. Well, Mr. Wright. This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atmey was at Mr. Bullard's office on that night. But, can you really prove that? That's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. That night, Luke Atmey was at KB Security, and the defense... unfortunately can't prove it. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony, that's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atmey is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Mask.
No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Order in the court. That's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We could look for more evidence and... By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atmey will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Mask the Mask, which means... he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kate Bullard is concerned. No way! The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atmey's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Atmey, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today, and as long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning this witness. Are there any objections? Yeah, drink your coffee. Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atmey.
Objection!
What? I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. That voice! No way! Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Curane channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she is my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine... Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out of the end after all. I am the ace detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that, just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot?
Nothing.
Oh, Sir Lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at...
Let's hear it.
Huh?
It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination.
Mr. Godot, what are you...
Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance.
Yes, Chief.
Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to the key card and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints on it if it sounded, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Mask the Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Svari! Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy.
This testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything.
But of course.
But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer.
Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec, just one chance?
It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there isn't any evidence that contradicts with that testimony. So it would seem.
What do you mean, so it would seem?
Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17, the last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony, and I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. Alright.
Wait a second. Hold it! Mr. Atmey, about this last remark.
Objection!
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot.
What?
Mr. Atmey, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atmey? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his mask-to-mask outfit. Is that correct?
Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof.
More like your deductions prove that you're a fool.
I'm sorry, whatever do you mean?
For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
When exactly did we learn that fact? Ron Delight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime.
That was, It was just a few hours ago, back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right, the defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atmey? There is no way that you should have known about that! You were in the next courtroom, being tried as Master Mask. So then enlighten us! Just how did you know about that piece of information? Well...
Come on, this detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit. There is one, and only one way, for Detective Atmey to have found that out.
Only one? One way, you say?
Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection!
But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atmey.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Well, how about that? Detective Atmey, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed King Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing! Oh, jeez. Good lord. Take a good look, everyone! Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the Tragic Clown!
That's the same line you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. King Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atmey, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atmey tried to frame Ron Delight. He then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man, besmirching him with the title of murderer.
A normie!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but... I really am Master Mask!
Huh?
So, thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you mention it...
I've been careless.
Careless? What do you think, Mia?
As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent.
Then, Master Mask is really innocent.
For now, it would seem so.
For now? Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. Huzzah!
Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, hey, that isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Master Mask after all.
You did it, Nick.
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call on me much these days.
Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days.
You mean about becoming the master of the Curane channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
You mean Misty Faye?
Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Of course.
Well then, see you around.
Mia. Ah, Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore now that all of this is... Come on, just be happy already! Maya, you've been cleared of murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot! But in exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Master Mask. I did it all for one reason, for her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She always said she hates sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security, I lost all the money I had. She wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Master Mask. Yes, but it's all over now. Broken Bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? You'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. And this thing is proof of it. Take that! The Sacred Urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife, she has always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah, there you are. Miss Delight. You did it, Ronnie. You're innocent. I'm so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you had quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really Master Mask, either. Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not really going to leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I even let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that there's no way he could ever get away. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Huh? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick, Mr. Maya, congratulations!
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife in front of Mr. Maya?
No, you got it all wrong.
I'll never forgive you. Never, ever.
So, just as the case came to a close, so did my consciousness. Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here is a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. And that brings Case 2 to a close. A brand new episode has been added. It's Recipe for Turnabout. So we're going to save here. And that was Case 2, The Stolen Turnabout. Next time on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, we will begin Case 3, Recipe for Turnabout. See you then.